Hello and welcome to day 6 of our data science training with Python. So today we'll be looking at functions, right? So functions are just a function is just a block of code that is designed to perform a particular task. Just look at functions like the remote of your television, right? So you have a button for basically everything. If you want the menu, you press the menu button. So all of them has particular functions, right? So that is what functions are. So it just makes you to break a code down into smaller pieces which are easily they are manageable, right? They are easy to manage, easy to maintain, and it makes your code to be much readable and reusable. So to define a function in Python, we're going to use the keyword def, and then we're going to do the function name. So the function name will be here. Then function can have parameters, right? So it can have parameters. Then after that, you can have your code, right? You can do your codes here, and then functions can also have return type, right? You can also have it can return a value from the function, right? You can return the value. So this is basically the syntax for doing. So if, for example, I was doing something like a is equals to a plus b, then I can, or let's say sum, then I can return sum here. So we have the def, which is a keyword. Function name is the name of your function, and parameters are optionals, but it's important. Right, these are values that the function will accept, right, and use them for computations based on what you have. So I'm going to, so this is syntax. I'm just going to change it to a markdown, right? So, and then I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do an example of def say hello, right? We know parameters this time around. So, and then it just prints now that welcome to functions in Python. Now remember that a function must be called before it is used. So I must call this function here before it performs whatever I want it to do. So what I'm saying is, if I run this, wow, nothing happened. But if I do say hello, then now it can print my text, right? So if your remote is sitting there and it won't do anything until you take it and turn on your TV. So that is how it works, right? So we can also have, now that's an example. Now we can have functions that takes parameters. So I'm just going to do sum, def sum, and I'm going to pass in a and b, and then now I'm going to do now it can have a return type, right? But let's just do print. Let's just do sum is equals to, no, let me do result is a plus b, right? Then I'm printing out results here. So if I run this function, I want to call sum will be 10, 20, and if I do this, it gives me 13. And if I want to write some text here, I can say the sum is blah, right? And if I run now, it tells me the sum is this. Now we can also do with a return type, which means that I can do function with return type. So functions with return type, so I can do product. Let me do product of two numbers. So I'm going to put x and y, and now I'm going to do return x star y. So I can just call product and 5, right, and it gives me 10, right? 2 times 5 gives me 10, right? So that is it. Now so that is function that takes values. That's function that have a return type. We also have functions can take default parameters. So for example, there's some variable that some value that you want that by default it should be there. So I can do functions with we can do we can create functions that takes default arguments, right? So we can have a function that takes a default argument. So for example, we can have this and greetings, right? And then now I do age and name is Maxwell, right? Let's see. And I'm just going to do print. So I'm going to use the f string. We have not used the f string before. Hello name, you are 8 years old. Okay, so I do greeting 20 June. Okay, so it tells me that he's this. But now what if we don't pass this, right? If I don't pass this, right, it still works, right? It still works, right? It now takes the default name there. But if I pass in a name, right, so if I pass in a name like Jane, then it replaces that name there. So that works perfectly. All right, so we can have functions that take default values. We can have functions that we can also have, there's this type of functions in Python that are known as arbitrary keyword arguments. We can have functions that have arguments. So I'm going to do that in another video. Then even with the lambda function also, I'm going to do the lambda function in another video, right? So because this video is already getting too long. So